Okay, we're on problem number 2. It says compute all values for A. There could be more than one. For which the intersections of these two graphs over here would produce a region that is an area 51. So I think the first thing to do is go to the whiteboard and try to visualize what they're asking me to find. All right, go to the whiteboard. And the first thing I'm going to do is write down, what they've given me. And what they've given me is they've given me two inequalities. And again, inequalities, especially absolute value inequalities, might prove to be kind of difficult to think about. But I'll write them down. And the first one is 2y is greater than or equal to the absolute value of x. And the other inequality I'm seeing is there's a parameter in it, and the parameter is going to be a. And the a could be a variety of numbers. And to separate into numbers, by the way, I'll separate into cases for that one where a would be 0, a would be positive, a would be negative. And what I want, what I want to do is I want to kind of visualize these guys over here. And I'm going to, realize that it's not difficult to visualize this. Again, X and Y axis down. I'm going to try to visualize this. And the way I do that is I see that 2y is equal to the absolute value of x. And the way I would visualize that, I would just write down y equals the absolute value of x over 2. And that's going to be a slope of a half, which means the rise would be 1, the run would be 2. So maybe something like this over here. I know it's not a very accurate idea. It's really not, doesn't look like a slope of a half to me either. All right? But I'm going to say it's symmetric. And over here, I'm going to say this over here is the line, y equals x over 2. All right? Now, by the way, for 2y to be greater than that, I pick a test point, any point in the half plane, by the way. So if you pick the point, 0, 1, and plugged it in, what would you get? Well, we know it's up here somewhere. So we know that if I were to shade this in, it would be shaded in above, like this over here. I know it's shaded in up there. Let me do the other guy, though. When I do that, there's a problem over here. But I want to take really simple cases. The a to be greater than 0, the a to be equal to 0, and the a to be less than 0. All right, and you may wonder why that is. I want to graph it out, but I want to concentrate on just the half plane right now. So I'm going to say y equals, and by the way, half plane, I'm going to say x greater than 0 or equal to it. So I'm going to take the case where a equals 0. And what would you get over there? Well, you just get 17. So I'm going to draw that in. Sort of, I'm not going to say that the scale is appropriate, but sort of like this over here. And this is where the a equals 0. I would get a line there, y equals 17. So I think I know the point over here. And I want to point out the point would be where y is equal to 17. The x would be 17 over 2. All right? I see that. Now, what I want to do is I want to take the a to be greater than 0. And what do you get over there? Y equals some positive slope times x. I'm just doing a half plane, by the way, plus 17. So if it's positive slope, it's going to look something like this over here. All right, if it's positive slope. I should also probably look at the negative slope too. And what the negative slope is going to be, a less than 0. What do you get over here? Y would equal ax. It's still ax, by the way, plus 17. But if it's negative slope, it's going downhill. Right? So I got these points to consider over here, and I want to go through them separately. All right? How do you do that? Well, I set it equal. And I'm only on the right half plane, by the way. I didn't draw the other one, but you could. It's easy to do that. But I'm just looking at the plane, part of the plane where x is greater than 0. So I'm going to write this down. I'm going to say, x over 2 is equal to, and I got to be careful, it's going to be equal to ax plus 17. All right? I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. Get x equals 2ax plus, 2 times 17 is 34. And then I'd get x minus 2ax equals 34. Factor an x out, and what do you get there? Let's see, you would get 1 minus 2a equals 34. And then you're going to get x equals 34 over 1 minus 2a. Again, I hope I didn't go too fast with that. But again, you can always pause the tape and say, I'll think about that. But, someone's going to say, I don't understand what you just did over there. We found these points over here, and there's actually two of those, depending what a is. Like if a is a positive number, I would write this down, 34 over 1 minus 2a. Now, if a is a I'm sorry, this is if a is a negative number. By the way, I'm not going to do this over here. I'll tell you why. I really don't think I need to. And what's this over here? It's still the same thing. It's 34, 1 minus 2a. And again, I don't need to compute that over there. But you could. You could plug it in. That's not a problem. The question is, what are you really looking to do? Well, what I'm kind of looking to do is to get the area. But I'm just going to do half the area. And someone says, what do you mean by that? I'm just going to do this thing here, but I do need to understand that there's two sides to this thing, right? So if I were to do that one over there, there'd be another side over here. And what's supposed to be, that whole area is supposed to be, I believe it's, let me go back and read it, it's 51, right? So if I'm just going to do half of it, I'll do 51 over 2. Let me write that down for you. So 51 over 2 equals 1/2 times the base. Now someone says, I wonder what the base is. This is the base of that triangle. What's the base going to be? The base is going to be 17, right? The base is going to be 17 times the height of it. I'll put this over here, the height of it, all right? Now someone says, what's height over here? It's still the height of it. I just don't know which one it is. By the way, it also could be this height over here, which I know is 17. But I was because I don't know what it is. I mean, it could be this h, it could be 17, it could be that h over there. I just don't know which one it is. Now, one of the h's is less than 17. One of the h's could be 17. And one of the h's is greater than 17, just looking at that picture. But I still don't know what h is. Question is, can I figure it out? And then look at the picture and get that. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. You get 51 equals 17h. And then I'm going to divide through by 17. And what do you get? 17 goes into 51 3 times. So I know the h is 3. So it has to be this one over here. Has to be. So let's write this down over here. And, you know, I write it down. It's going to be this over here. And again, I'll get back to the question later, by the way. 34. And then it's going to be 1 minus, well, if h is 3, you're going to get 6 there. Hope you can agree with that. All right? Would that be, let's see if I got there. 34, 1 minus 6 is, let's see if I did that right. Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. I plugged in a number that's not true, by the way. And let me point out what I mean by that. I plugged something that's not true. I said the a was 3. It's not 3. I got to do that. So I'm going to write this down. 34, 1 minus 2a. That has to be the number 3. Again, why is that? That's what the x value is. The h is the x value. And the x value is 34, 1 over minus 2a. Well, let me write this down. 34, that would be 3 minus 6a. And then I subtract 3 from both sides. I get 31 equals minus 6a. And then what do you do over here? Divide both sides by minus 6, and you get minus 31 over 6 is equal to a. And by the way, I think their question was, and I'm going to go back and read it. It says, compute all the values for a. Well, I did find it, and it makes sense to me. And why is that? We're looking at a negative slope, by the way, and that's what the a was determining. So my a is minus 31 over 6, and I'll put a box on that. And we're done. Thank you.